like that, how would Harden fit in Phoenix?
Well, he'll fit fine if that's what he wants, Skip. It just all depends on what does James Harden really want. Now, this is what Chris Haynes reported last month, that Harden would only entertain suitors that present a competitive roster and the basketball freedom for him to be a star.
Okay.
He can, with KD and Book, and you think you're going to be what you were in Houston?
Well, you'd have to be what you were in Philadelphia. Right?
Or you have to be what you were in Brooklyn. Or you're going to be Skip because he had that streak where he's averaging like a triple-double. So if that's what he wants, James Harden has shown me. Now, I don't know if he can give where he had a stretch where he had averaged like 40 for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can be that. But he's shown me that with other stars, he can swallow enough of his ego, not need to give you 35, 40, but can give you 22, 23, 8, 9, 10 assists, 7, 8 rebounds. He's shown he can do that. Does he still want to do that? What's important to James at this juncture, Skip? What's important to him? He's already a top 75 player.
Yeah.
He's already won an MVP.
Yeah.
He's made money. You know, maybe his lifestyle makes it conducive for him to try to get a little bit more money.
It's possible.
But that's what it comes down to, Skip. What's James Harden for? 33? So he's probably been in the league, 14 years?
He'll play at 34.
He'll play at 34. So he's been in the league 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
So he took a foot. I don't know, Skip. It's kind of hard for me to take a pay cut 1 year for $15 million and not try to recruit some of that back on the. Now you never get money back. You can just get, make a big, but you're not getting $15 million back.
Yeah.
So what's important to James Harden?
Yeah.
Winning a championship. Well, I think his best option is either go to Phoenix or stay where he is. If he wants to be what he once was in Houston and make a lot of money, maybe returning to Houston is what he needs to do.
Okay. Allow me to say about Ramona. She's very good at what she does.
Yeah.
And she's plugged in. So I'm giving this credit. She said, I'm not reporting this, but I'm giving it credibility as a real possibility because I loved what she said about Phoenix has to have a plan in place.
Right.
They're not just going to say, bye, Chris, without having thought it through. We're going to replace him with the list that we had of possible replacements. They all required trades. And you never know, man.
Right.
I mean, can you?
Right.
Can you get who you want? Can you improve on Chris Paul?
Well, because you're trying to trade him to us. Well, if he's so good, why are you not keeping him?
Okay. But I'm talking about if you just waive
Oh, yeah,
him.
you can waive him, or you can trade him. I mean, or Mike Conley, or maybe you could do a sign and trade with the Lakers for I think D'Lo's a free agent, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you want to do, a sign and trade. But like I said, Skip, if you think about it, Conley's 36. It's not like Conley's 27.
No.
He's on the other side. Terry Rozier, he plays the point, but he's really a two masquerading.
Yeah. James Harden wears me out when I'm rooting for him as I was rooting for the 76ers because I picked him to win the East.
Right.
You just can't depend on him. You can't trust him in the biggest moments. And he has a long and bloody history of coming up small in playoff games that we talked about. He's also capable of going for 50 on any given night when you dare him to.
Hence the 2 40-point games that he had against Boston.
That's what I'm saying. He has perimeter genius to him, and even though he doesn't look the same, even though he's lost a step, even though he sometimes looks like the oldest, about to be 34-year-old on the planet, or at least in basketball sense.
Yeah.
He led the league in assists. It had a lot to do with the guy who won the MVP, but you can also argue
that's one of the reasons why he won the MVP.
Okay. Which comes first, chicken or egg? So could he run the point for the Phoenix Suns between those two wings?
Yeah, sure.
Sure he could. Could he lead the league in assists if he so dedicated himself to doing that? Sure he could.
Didn't he lead the league in assists at Brooklyn? Or maybe he didn't qualify. But we saw him play with KD and Kyrie.
Yeah.
And still go get you 24, 25, averaging like double-digit assists, had high total in rebounds. So we know he can do it, but we're assuming that a championship is the most important, and we need to stop assuming that. That we look at it like, okay, championship.
Yeah.
But maybe these guys are not looking at it like that. Man, I'm trying to get $300-400 million.
Then, by the way, if this did happen, if he did opt out of his Philly deal and into whatever, again, now we get into the cap issues. Could they pay him? I'm assuming they've figured out how they could pay him.
Yeah, but I don't know, Skip. Book's on a max contract. KD's on a max contract.
DeAndre Ayton's on the trading block.
Right.
So maybe that would clear enough that you could add if you could figure that part out.
Well, if he opted out of $35 million, you know he's going to want 40.
Yeah. Listen, these teams, when they really want to add somebody, even though the cap gets harder and harder,
Right. You pay luxury penalty.
They just do it. Matt Ishbia, the new owner, is going to say, I got this. I got the deep enough pockets.
Right.
I want to go win a championship because I have Kevin Bleepin Durant right now, and my window's starting to close. He's getting up there in age, but I got a shot because Devin Booker is in his prime.
Dude, you know what I noticed? I noticed these guys, these young guys that come in and buy these teams, they've had a lot of success and they've won. And when they first get to the NBA, they want to win. They want to win. Oh, I want to win. Yeah. But as time goes on, all of a sudden you see Joe Tsai. He came in. Oh, I want this. I want that. Go get KD. Okay, we got KD. We got Kyrie. Okay, we gonna trade for James Harden. And then all of a sudden it's like, damn, this thing harder than I thought it was. And we're in the luxury tax. We're in the repeater.
Yeah.
I blow this thing up. blow it up.
And now we're starting over.
Exactly.
And I'm a long way away from winning a championship.
So Matt Ishbia is coming in like, a championship. I won.
Well, he was on a championship team at Michigan State under Coach Izzo in, what was it, 2000?
Yeah, but here's the thing. There was no NILs. Because imagine if there were NILs there, then all of a sudden this guy Cleves, and then this guy, there's somebody. Well, Carolina say we got this much for you, Mateen. If you come over here, we see these guys now get the NIL deal. The bigger the NIL deal, I might not be here very long.
All right. So what do I see in James Harden at an advanced age? I see a guy who really doesn't love the pressure of having to live up to championship expectations, aspirations.
Okay.
So I don't even know, does Houston really want this? Would they pay him max money? Because he's going to be a bridge to what you hope is a contending team, right? Yeah. But do you want him as almost a sideshow? Because he is a hot commodity there. He is beloved in Houston. Yeah. Do you want to bring him back for a last hurrah? Do you want him to retire as a Rocket? Do you want to pay him max money to do that with all these young players?
Are you willing to stud the growth of Porter Jr. and Kenya Martin Jr. and Jalen Green and Porter? And Sengi. I like Sengi.
I do too.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I don't know if James Harden makes them. He says he wants a competitive roster.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe Houston can pay him the most money. There's no taxes. He's comfortable there. His family's there. But, I mean, does Phoenix make sense? Absolutely, it makes sense. Going back to Philly makes sense.
Yeah.
But how much is it going to cost Philly? How much is it going to cost Phoenix? And what I would like to know, what's the most important things to James Harden?
I don't know. That's a great question. That is actually the question. All I know for sure is he's as lucky as it gets when it comes to basketball situations because every time I turn around, he's in the middle of another one, right?
Right.
He had all kinds of he had Chris in Houston, and then he had Russ in Houston, and then he goes up and...
He had Dwight Howard in Houston.
Dwight Howard, that's another good one. And then he goes up with Kevin and Kyrie, and it blows up. We know all that story.
Yeah, he's been in some ideal situation.
Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Doc. And
don't forget, he had KD and Russ back in the day.
And he started out. I know he was the sixth man.
Yeah, so James Harden might have been in the best situation of any NBA player in the history of the game.
For his whole career, if you look at help, if you look at teammates, super teams, I don't think anybody's had a run like this guy.
Had Dwight Howard made the the 75th anniversary team, it would have been a situation that he had never played with anything but a top 75 player of all time.
Yeah, if he winds up playing for Phoenix next year, and you look at the Hall of Famers he will have played with in total in his career, you'll say, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you go back to Showtime Lakers where they're all teammates because they're all great and the teams are great. But I think this would eclipse that.
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
KD, Russ, KD and Kyrie, Joel Embiid. That would be KD Book. He had Chris, you mentioned he had Chris CP3 in Houston.
And Dwight. Okay. Man, we got Hall of Fames everywhere.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, guys, Gilbert Arenas has been publicly recruiting James Harden to join the Miami Heat. That would be an intriguing scenario.
I don't know if the Heat gonna work.
No.
Not playing no defense. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
Be a lot of strong personalities on that squad.
I don't know.
All right. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.